Hey everybody, it's Majin Slayer here. Today I got for you guys a high-rated dueling book replay. It is going to be featuring Dodger Wolf with 1497 rating going up against Lejour Frances with 1343 rating. And remember to go ahead and check out the July_2CG Discord server. A really nice place to play in remote duels, dueling book duels, casual duels, get feedback on your deck list, not just Fam Night related content. And or if you just want to go ahead and have some fun and hang out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this replay. We're gonna go ahead and see Dodger Wolf win the RPS there. We're gonna go and see him pick first, 40 versus 40. Opening hands are gonna be Droplet, Telly, Droplet, Seer, Ash. So this still works because Shirabini just takes any generic 2 level 3s. And then we have for the opponent Ash Blossom, Droplet, Mystic Mine, Rose, the Rays. So Mystic Mine is going to put in a lot of work because of um how good it is against Phantom Knights, considering how hard it is to get rid of the Rusty Bardiche. But he does have the droplets though as a way to out it once they go ahead and put a monster on board. So we start off with the E-Telly first. Yeah, definitely don't want to normal summon Ash first there. Otherwise, this is going to tell your opponent that, like, oh, he has no more extenders. Which, I mean, you could bait out Ash that way as well. But no, he's just going to Ash E-Telly. Go ahead, Cherubini, dump the gloves. Go ahead, Seer, special summon itself out. So, he is playing around the possible Nibiru by doing this line of play. Go ahead, turn those into the Rusty Bardiche. Rusty effect, go ahead, chain Ash Blossom. Ragged Gloves effect. Go ahead, dump the boots. Go ahead, boots effect. Get search out a Pog Blade. Set Droplet, set Pog Blade pass, ending on 2 interruptions. Go ahead, top decks the Celestial. Go ahead, activates Mystic Mine. Go ahead, set Droplet pass. Go ahead, top decks into the Graph. Ooh, really bad draw right there, considering how he doesn't really have an engine right now to work with. And top decks into another Droplet pass. Top deck, I think they top deck into a Veiler or Ray. I just want to try to fast forward through these like Mystic Mind plays. Okay, he's gonna go ahead, add Torn Skills with Rhoda. Probably wants to deck thin so you can get closer to a possible Mystic Mine out. I'm just gonna fast forward this. They just pass. Alright, so next we're gonna go and make a play here. I'm gonna go ahead and Droplet, getting rid of the Celestial. Good Shark Cannon, the Torn Scales. Looks like they're thinking towards that. They want to go ahead and chain Pog Blade, targeting the Torn Scales. And they're just going to go ahead. And they wanted to just free up a spawn trap zone. So I'm going to set the Widow Anchors, some out boots. Relay those into the Breaksword and pass. I wonder if Dodger Wolf even mains a Mystic Mine out right now. The deck profiles I've seen of him online, he doesn't ever main a Mystic Mine out. And he's gonna go ahead and go into the Dante pass. Then gonna activate E-Telly, has no targets. Can Pog Blade his own Breaksword, turn those into the ISOL. That draws into his main deck Cosmic Cyclo. Okay, so we got some action now going on. And use Pog Blade, target Breaksword. See if we can try to break through this. Go ahead Imperm the Rusty, bring out the Torn Scales. Ancient Cloak effect. Go ahead, search out the Silent Boots. Just summon itself out. Overlay those into another Breaksword effect. Pop itself and a set. Go ahead, Widow Anchor take. Go ahead, turn those into the Nightmare Unicorn effect, discard Droll. And also use Dante effect on Seer to chain block the Nightmare Unicorn. Go ahead, add back the Seer. And you want to try to go to the battle phase here. Go ahead, use Wings on Rusty for a little bit more damage. Then try to use Wings effect here to try to go for game. Attack with the Break Sword. Go ahead, Widow Anchor to take the Break Sword. Go ahead, Shade Brigandine, split itself out. Go ahead, turn the Shade Brigandine and the Unicorn into the Appaloosa. Then Living Fossil. Go ahead, split out the Torn Scales. Torn Scales effect, discard Seer. Did he even send anything? He didn't send anything off of Torn Scales. I wonder if he has even any Fan Night like names left. Still has. Still should have like a sword. I know he plays the 5 traps. Well, 6 traps actually, because he likes to play 3 Pog Blades, Shade, the Wings, and the sword. Which actually is a lineup I actually tried over the summer, actually. I found that it really helped out with the grind game, but it can also contribute to your bad hands going second. Because it can be a bit bricky because you would rather see your level 3 starters and your extenders. Oh yeah, the Torn Scales was negated by Living Fossil. Yep, that's right. Yep, so he actually couldn't mill from deck though, but he used to have to have a lethal target in order to attempt to activate it. It's like for Rusty Bardiche, you have to still have an applicable spell and trap in your deck in order to be able to send to the graveyard, because it has to do both of them in order to do its effect. So you can't just have one Phantom Knight monster in your deck and not have any traps or spells to be able to set. Go ahead and go for the Draco feature. Ancient Cloak effect. Go ahead, try to search. Searches out of Torn Scales. Then Stained Underwear effect. Go ahead, search summon out the Torn Scales. Go into an Xyz. Goes into the Levier effect. Because that brings out the Ancient Cloak. Ancient Cloak to go ahead and boost the Rusty. So now it should be, what was that, 26? So now this should be at 34. Making sure I do the math right. Boots, search out Pogblade. Go ahead, Levier into the Zeus. Break Circ goes back, activates multi-roll. Let's that go through. Says that it was the time for Zeus that he missed. I mean, you're giving up a whole lot of monsters if you want a Zeus. And I mean, this guy still hasn't even committed to his extra deck yet, so I'm not sure what he wants to like say anything right there. I mean, why would you want a Zeus there and give up all the like follow up you have of like monsters just sitting there to try to kill him next turn if he doesn't kill you this turn? Uses droplets in the damage step. Maybe laid out there for a little bit. Go ahead, Ray. Go for Kagari. Kagari. Go try to add back Widow Anchor. Chain the Appaloosa. Engage. Go ahead, add Afterburners. Afterburner. Go ahead, pop the Zeus. Right now, he's only left with 3 extra deck monsters. Fisher, I would think he's stuck with like IP. What's he stuck with? He's gone through quite a bit. I'm trying to remember his list. Has he gone through the? He's gone through the ISO stuff, right? Yep. Go ahead, Ancient Cloak. Go ahead, Boost Rusty. Go ahead, normal summon Tour Guide effect. Go ahead, bring out another Tour Guide. Go ahead, Rusty, poke into the Kagari. It's going to go ahead, imperm, target the Appaloosa, so that way they can't negate the Ray. Ray effect. Go ahead and bring out the Zeke, or Kaina, sorry. Stop a monster from attacking, so we can't beat over it now with Breaksword. Goes into a downer now. Then Rusty effect. Oh, that's a cool interaction. Downer is still an Xyz dark monster that's supposed to into a zone Rusty points to, so now he's going to go ahead and try to pop the Kaina. Never really seen this actually happen before, but now you know it's a cool interaction to always remember that can come up. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty big brain in my opinion. Pretty big brain. Go ahead, multi-roll. Sure, he still has an access code in the extra deck. I'm trying to remember what his last extra deck monster could be. But they're going to take the Break Sword with the short cannon. Then normal summon out Ray. Turn those into the Zeke. Zeke effect, go ahead. But Dodgers Wolfson Chain Pogblade, then Chain Imperm targeting their Downard. Then Rusty gets banished due to Zeke's effect, Kagari effect. Go ahead and add back the Widow Anchor. Go ahead, Kagari, attack into the Downard Magician. Goes ahead and sets the Widow Anchor and then multi-roll effect. Getting back the Afterburners. Top decks into a Droll. So normal summons out the Droll. Yep, goes into the IP. Because that turns the IP, Droll and the Appaloosa into the Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker gets taken by Widow Anchor, Ancient Cloak to boost the Access Code Talker. Just checking to see if Widow Anchor was set by multi-roll. And then now we're going to go ahead and go to main phase, and then Widow Anchor take the Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker attack into the Rusty. Then Kagari attack into the Ancient Cloak. And Access Code Talker banish itself. And yep, he's going to go ahead and admit defeat right there. So try to play it out. Really, I mean, when was the last time you saw anyone go through their literal entire extra deck? But real props for him trying to play it out that game one. Under like the worst card ever, going second to play, dealing with, especially when you're playing Phantom Knights. But now we're on to game two now. We're going to go and see Dodger Wolf open with Ash Blossom, Droplet, called by Cosmic Cyclone, Boots. So Mystic Mine out right here in the opening hand. Then we got Terraforming, Celestial, Ash Blossom, Widow Anchor, and Ray. So about two going second cards here because I count Terraforming as the going second card because we can search out the Mystic Mine. And then you can go and see Dodger Wolf just go ahead send pass because he just doesn't have a generic extender to play with in order to go to the full combo pretty much. So it's going to go and top deck into the Ray right there. Or the Rose, I believe, sorry. Go ahead, Terraforming, search out Area 0. Area 0. Activate Area 0, sorry. Normal summon out Ray. And chain the effective Ray to Area 0 targeting itself. Go ahead, call by the grave, smack it out of the graveyard. I hit a Widow Anchor though. So not able to get their engine going, but does end with three interruptions, thankfully, with the Widow Anchors and the Ash Blossom in hand. They're going to top deck into a Torn Scales. Now they got their engine going. So they're going to go ahead, blind Cosmic Cyclone, hit a Widow Anchor, normal summon Torn Scales, discard the Droplet to try to bait negation to make it look like they don't open up the extender, but they do. It's actually a really good interaction that I think more people should try this format. Is to, even though you have like a generic extender to go with your Fan 9 normal summon with Torn Scales, just go ahead and try to bait it out because people will be like, man, he's so desperate. I want to cut him off from everything. They're going to go ahead and Imperm or Valor your Torn Scales, and you just go ahead and drop the extender right there. And then if they don't, well, you're just going to go ahead and dump a glove so you can go ahead and play around Nibiru if they try to Nibiru you on the Rusty summon. So really, really good interactions there. You guys should know in case if you don't know already. Go ahead, link into the Cherubini. Go ahead, Cherubini, dump Graph effect. He gets it with Ash Blossom. Then Boots effect. Go ahead and search a Pog Blade. And Torn Scales effect. Go to bring itself out. Go ahead, link off the Torn Scales and the Cherubini into Rusty. You might as well link it off right here because it's like, okay, well, me just passing on Cherubini and Torn Scales isn't really going to amount to everything. I need to put up an interruption during my opponent's turn. And if I happen to get Nibiru'd here, well, I still have a Pog Blade to be able to set. And the good thing about Sky Striker is that your Pog Blades are like going to fall off 95% of the time because all this deck does is Link Summon, and your Pog Blades are really good for falling off once your opponent commits to Link Summoning. Going to go ahead and Rusty effect, go ahead, dump Ancient Cloaks at the Shade Brigandine. Ancient Cloak effect, go ahead, search out the Stained Underwear. Go ahead, Shade Brigandine, go ahead, bring itself out. Then bring out the Stained Underwear, turn those two into the Isolde. Then Isolde effect, go ahead, add Ragged Gloves for follow-up. Go ahead, dump Living Fossil, special summon out the Renaud. Renaud effect, go ahead, add back the Living Fossil. Go ahead, link those off into the Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn effect, discard Ragged Gloves for cost, targeting the area 0. Then battle phase, go ahead, poke with Rusty and Unicorn. Go ahead, activate Living Fossil, targeting the Renaud. Go ahead, turn those into the Appaloosa for 2, and pass turn. You're going to top deck into the multi-roll right there. You're going to go ahead and normal summon out Rose. Go ahead, turn those into Shizuku. Shizuku to try to attack over the Appaloosa. Pog Blade the Shizuku. Go ahead, Pog Blade falls off, goes into the Kagari. Kagari effect, try to add back. Appaloosa negate. Go ahead, go into the Shizuku. This was already special summon. Yeah, good thing he caught it right there. I was about to say that might have made a big difference. But now we're gonna go on to game 3 though. Opening hands are gonna be Kagemuchi Knight, Ragged Gloves, Stained Underwear, Twin Twisters, Living Fossil. So yet again another out to Mystic Mine in case if he needs it. And then we have Ash Blossom, Ray, Rose, Effect Veiler, and multi-roll. So Sky Striker player making Dodger Wolf go first. See how he decides to start off. Okay, just a little bit of lag there. So normal summon out Ragged Gloves, special summon out the Kagemuchi Knight. Go ahead, turn those two into the Cherubini effect, dump Graph, then Graph effect, go ahead, Ash Graph, then Living Fossil, go ahead, bring back out the Kagemuchi Knight, then turn those two into the Rusty Bardiche effect, go ahead, gets hit with Effect Veiler, Ragged Gloves effect, go ahead, tag out for the Ancient Cloak effect, go ahead and add the Silent Boots. Then special summon out Silent Boots, then go and trigger the Stained Underwear. Go ahead and bring that out. Go ahead, overlay those two into a Dante. Dante to mill, goes ahead and mills the Torn Scales, Scarm, and the Forbidden Droplet. So really good mills right there. Gonna grab a Tour Guide for follow-up. He has the Torn Scales in graveyard, in which he can bring it out by using the Boots effects. Then he's gonna go and use Boots effect right here. Go ahead, search out a Pog Blade. I was thinking if he wants to use Torn or not. Yeah, because he probably doesn't really have anything to go into. He could like go into IP, but what's IP really going to accomplish without any setup in the graveyard to use? Go ahead and use Scarm Effect and End Phase, add the Tour Guide, pass turn. So ends on one interruption and fairly decent follow-up with the Dante that can add back the Seer, as well as an normal summon Tour Guide, and then a Pog Blade for interruption. So then they're going to top deck into the Fusion Destiny. That's going to be pretty strong here. Go ahead, normal summon out Ray, special summon out Rose. Go ahead, it goes for a Link 2, goes into the Zeke. They're going to go ahead and try to banish the Dante, so that way he won't be able to recycle the Seer, but he's going to go ahead and Pog Blade that. Go ahead, go into the Hayate to try to bow. I think this is the first time we've seen Hayate be summoned this game, which is kind of crazy. I want to actually double check on that. Yeah, this is the first time we've seen Hayate be used that game. It's kind of insane. Hayate to dump. You're going to go ahead and dump a Widow Anchor. You're going to bring out Kagari. Kagari effects. Go ahead, add back the Widow Anchor. Go ahead, turn Kagari into Shizuku. Go ahead, activate multi-roll. Go ahead, set the Widow Anchor. Fusion Destiny. He said, "Nice hand." Yeah, that was pretty nice hand right there. The top deck Fusion Destiny. They're gonna go ahead and use Shizuku effect during the end phase. Go ahead, add Shark Cannon. Go ahead, destroy Phoenix Enforcer effect. Go ahead, pop Rusty. Wouldn't it have been better had you? I guess in this way, if he doing this route, I was thinking maybe he just waits for Daughter will try to use Pog Blade, but then there's a possibility that he won't use Pog Blade because he's, he obviously, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. Yeah, he wants to force him to use the Shark Cannon. Or not that he wants him to be forced to use a Shark Cannon, more so that he wants Dodger Wolf to go ahead and use a Pog Blade to try to bring back one of his monsters during the end phase. And he doesn't want the Rusty to get revived. He wants Dodger Wolf to have to at least discard something in order to revive back the Rusty, making him use up more resources. Because if he were to just target the Rusty, then Torntias would be able to trigger since Rusty would be banished. And he would also just be able to chain Pog Blade and then bring out Torn Skills as well. So he is limiting him from the Rusty getting a +2 for him. Looks like DP is going to come out in the standby phase. It's going to go ahead and on summon DP effects and then chain link 2. Go ahead and chain Twin Twister. He wants to try to force him so in that way he doesn't use up his potential bluff in the Widow Anchor. It wants to force him to either have to use his own DP or the multi-roll itself. Then DP Graveyard effect. Go ahead, Dante Mill 3. Hits a Pog Blade. That's pretty decent. It's going to help him get an extender from out of the graveyard. Normal Summon Tour Guide effects. Go ahead, bring out the Seer. Go ahead, turn those into the Levier. Go ahead, Levier, detach the Seer for costs. Go ahead and bring out the Torn Skills. Then Seer effect, bring out the Cherubini. Go ahead, turn those into the F-Zero. Go ahead and use Cherubini to dump Ancient Cloak, then Pog Blade, revive back the Rusty. Rusty, go ahead, dump Torn Skills, set Wing. Is that access code GG? Do you want me to finish? Ancient Cloak, go ahead, search out Boots. Go ahead, special summon out Boots. Turn the Cherubini Boots into the Nightmare Unicorn. Yeah, so said he want me to finish, then he doesn't even let him finish. But I'm gonna go ahead and see them say GG. Let's see, how long was that match? We had quite a bit of Mystic Mine passing right there. 58, so pretty almost an hour long match, so pretty long, pretty long. Um I think most tournament matches you play in real life are like what, like 40, 50 minutes from what I've seen in remote duel invitationals like on Twitch. So pretty longer than your average tournament match. But it was cool to see Sky Striker going up against Fan Knights. It hasn't really been a duel yet I've uploaded on my channel where I go over strikers, so this was good to see. But I take that back. I think it's actually gonna be a Sky Striker match I upload before I put out this one. But it's really nice to see how Dodger Wolf's version of the deck goes up against the current meta decks, even if he doesn't use the DPE build, and when he doesn't get matched up with like his worst matchup, which would be Sword Soul currently. But that was a really nice duel. Some really nice I tried to play it out that game one, and it was fairly back and forth this game three. But yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the match. Remember to share the video with your friends if you enjoyed, and hope you guys have a good day. Peace.